Coming up, Ben unrolls a mattress. I paint some cupboards.
And Lucy finds some sticks. How's it going, everyone, and welcome back. So we are joining you from the Bedford today, and we can safely say that we're just about finished inside now.
95% there. We've just been putting the finishing touches on these last few weeks, which is really exciting because then it really starts to look more homely and more amazing.
Or homey, as they say in America.
We're not saying homey.
So we're just going to give you a little brief tour of the inside today. We're going to do a proper van tour in a few weeks' time, hopefully. So we'll do much more detail then, but we just want to show you a little bit around the van today of what we've been up to. So we're going to start with the bed area. And we're really chuffed with the bed area.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it behind us. It's looking woodlandy, it's looking a little bit gypsy caravan. It's kind of a bit of everything, but I think it's coming together really nicely.
We've kind of brought your vision to life here with this wood stuff, because this was really Lucy's idea from the beginning, that you wanted this kind of wild woodland effect for the bed area to divide it from the rest of the van. And I think we've achieved that really well. So this was just driftwood. We've been hunting the Cornish beaches for years. Lucy's been gathering all this driftwood and not really knowing what to do with it. And I've had no idea what your plans have been. I don't think you did either. But now we find a perfect use for it and it looks amazing. So talk us through the process. What did you do with the wood?
Well, first we had to select some pieces of wood that we thought were going to fit and kind of put it together like a rough puzzle to work out if they would fit together. Then we dyed them with some wood dye, which is different to coloured varnish. It kind of soaks into the wood, looks a lot more natural. Covered it with a couple of coats of polyurethane to give it that shine. We wanted to create this look of like old wood. You know, we're throwing this camper van back to like the 70s when it was made, and we want to get that richness in the wood. And then we assembled it using these little tiny brackets and some screws, and yeah, we've got this amazing bed divider. We might still add a couple of bits to it as of yet, but overall, really liking the way it looks.
So the main goal of building this, I guess, was to stop people falling out of the bed. And I've got to say, it looks really, really good. And it also does stop people falling out of the bed.
Yeah.
So it serves its purpose and it looks bloody beautiful.
And it separates it from the rest of the room.
We're really happy with that. Going into the bed area, you've brought this amazing tapestry to go on the back wall, which looks really nice. It just throws a little bit of colour into the room because we've got a lot of the same kind of tones going on. So that back wall just adds a real striking, colourful piece. When you open the door, you can see that straight away, that splash of colour, and it looks lovely. On the roof, we've got this amazing sort of plastic dome that you can look out of. You can actually put your head right up inside and look out into the nature, and it's really, yeah, we love that little feature. It's quite a quirky little thing. So we've finished it off with a really nice metal ring, which we actually made out of a serving plate, the same as we did in the LDV years ago. So we basically just cut the hole out of the middle, sanded the edge off so it's nice and smooth, and then we got some mirror screws and attached it to the roof with those. And in the little gap that was left, we just got a piece of rope and put the rope up there to fill the hole. And again, it looks wonderful. We're really happy with how that's turned out.
And the really clever thing is that we asked my dad to use a blowtorch to give the porthole this slightly brassy look. He's very good with working with stainless steel. If you heat it up to a certain temperature, it will go kind of golden. If you keep heating it up, it will go red and then purple eventually. So we managed to get this very slight brassy tone in there to match the rest of the fixtures in the van.
So moving back into the seating area, this is the main biggest window we've got in the back of the van, and this looks through into the cab. Now when the front of the cab's not covered with newspaper, because we're going to be painting it soon, it's going to look really lovely. You'll be able to see out into wherever we end up parking this thing up. It'll hopefully have a really nice view of the nature that you can sit at this table, have your dinner and look out into the fields.
That was always planning to be a central feature of this van, based on something we saw from like a 1960s camper van,
yeah,
I think once. It was this lovely idea of just having this view onto the world while you eat your dinner or read a book or whatever. So we just got like a couple of curtains we're going to put up here soon. And we also made these really funky window frames to go around them out of just some flat pieces of wood. Ben spent a really long time kind of chiselling, carving and sanding them away to make it into this more natural kind of live edge look. And then I finished off with a char from the blowtorch, which brings the wood grain out really nicely. And then again, hit it with some wood dye and some polyurethane varnish to kind of age it, make it look a little bit older than it was.
And then we've actually got these on all of the windows in the van, so we've got them on either side of the kitchen as well. So finally, in the seating area, you might notice that the table looks a little bit better than it did before. That's because we've completely changed the table. We invested so much time into building that last table that we probably didn't want to admit to ourselves that it actually looked a bit shit. So we took some time away from the van, we came back to it, and we just thought, it's not working. We don't like the look of it, we need to change it. So we went down to our local reclamation yard and we bought this beautiful bit of Cornish elm. And we just instantly thought, this is the piece we're going to get. It was wonky and misshapen and bent in all kinds of horrible angles. You wouldn't normally use it as a conventional table, which meant that we thought it was perfect.
Exactly.
So we got to work on it, we sanded it right back, we used Osmo oil in between many layers of sanding, got it back really, really smooth. The finish on it now is looking really good, almost professional, I dare say.
Oh, just about. I mean, it's a very unconventional dining table, but hey, nothing about this van is conventional. And I just love the elm because you get these really lovely sort of burrs around the edges, this amazing detail and texture in it. So everyone that's seen it is in love with this table, I think.
And it actually is the perfect shape, because we had a trouble with the last one where it was a perfect square and it meant it was really hard to get in on the corners to sort of sit down in the seating area. So this is actually wider at the end where you're going to be sitting and narrower at the end where you're going to be entering the seating area, so it works perfectly. It's much more ergonomically designed, let's say, I think, by
posh.
pure chance. So yeah, we're really chuffed with this seating area.
We just finished off the end of it as well recently with a bit of excess worktop, didn't we? And just finish off the cladding on the end of the seating area. Ben's put this lovely trim around the edge, ties it all in together nicely, and we finally got some power in the van, didn't we?
Yes, we've got power, all the electrics in place now, so we've got plug sockets on the end of the seating area where we've actually got something plugged into that looks really cool. It's an old vintage radio. Lucy found it on Facebook Marketplace and we instantly thought that's going to look absolutely perfect in here.
Oh, I love
so we've
it.
got this old vintage radio from God knows when, which plays really crackly FM radio, which is just amazing. No DAB in here. So that's plugged in down there. There's space for USB charging for phones and laptops and whatever else. We're going to finish these walls off in the seating area with some artwork, but that will come sort of in a couple of weeks' time, I think.
As you can probably see behind me, the kitchen area is just about finished. Here we've got these lovely window frames that we were just talking about, same as the sort of seating area, and above it we've got this wonderful little shelf which is also made out of a piece of driftwood. Gives it that lovely aged kind of look with these cute little shelf brackets. That's just going to be for storing herbs and spices and whatever. Down here we finally managed to install the fridge. That will just slide out like that. And that can run on 12 volt or mains, so it's ideal really whether this is parked up on mains power or off grid. Ooh, not the easiest to get it back in. Here we've got our lovely vintage picnic camper. This is going to be the main storage for cups, plates, bowls, cutlery and everything like that. Rather than have it in the cupboard, we thought it'd be more fun to have it kind of portable if you want to eat outside or whatever. So speaking of the cupboards, you can probably see that they're not quite finished yet. We have got a few shelves in and that. just getting the kind of spacing right. But there's one thing that's missing, and that is cupboard doors. And this is something that I've been really excited about doing for months now, and I finally got the chance last week to get the cupboard doors painted, so I'm going to show you how it was done. So I'm on to possibly one of the most exciting parts of this build, for me at least. This is kind of a vision I've had for the kitchen for a really long time now. We have a slight infatuation with like gypsy caravans, you know, bow-top wagons, and the general decor of them. We actually got the chance to stay in one at the start of the year, so I was really inspired by that when it came to doing the kitchen. So I bought these inlay stencils from online to do some kind of patterns. They're super easy to use actually. So I've applied a base layer of Cornish milk paint in Samphire. It's this gorgeous, slightly grey-green colour. I'm in love with it. That's actually vegan, and then I've got some traditional milk paint that is not vegan in red and white, and a handful of makeup sponges, because apparently these are the best things to use for stenciling. They get really fine paint on them, not too, you know, heavy on the paint like with brushes. And then it's just a case of basically applying the stencils to the cupboard doors, which we had to wait about 7 weeks to get, so I've been really impatient to get on with this, and I'm really excited to get started. So I'll show you how it's done. So as you can see beside me, the kitchen cupboard doors are now finished, and I could not be happier with the way they've turned out. They're going to add this real lovely kind of gypsy caravan twist to the van. All that's left to do now is to install the knobs and then fit the cupboard doors, and the kitchen will be finished. But we're going to make you wait until the next video for that one, when we'll be finishing off the inside of the van and giving the outside a coat of paint, and just wait and see what we do with that. So see you on the next one.